Welcome back to episode 4 of Back Row Critics. I am Adam,
And I'm Will.
and we are back with episode 4 just to kind of recap some stuff that happened last week, some of the things we watched, our thoughts on Oscars, but also just to kind of talk about some new and fresh stuff, things that are going on in the industry, a really fun Rotten Tomato stuff like we do, our hot take of the week, and then our movie of the week, of course. So let's jump right into it. You ready, Will?
Yeah.
All right. So start off at the top. What did you watch last week, Will?
So we actually haven't been together in a couple of weeks. So I feel
Yes,
like
that's true. Yeah.
we have some catching up to do in general. But instead of doing some rewatches I did, I'll talk about some first time watches. So I finally got to Superbad, the comedy
Finally,
that
all
everybody raves about. Finally got to that one. Had a good time watching it. Felt a little bit long, honestly, but still had a good time. I ended up giving it an 8. And then Almost Famous, I finally got to, and I loved that one quite a bit.
Great movie. Love Almost Famous.
Yeah, it's a movie that I was recommended to me by a coworker's husband, and I just hadn't gotten to it. And I finally watched it with Rosie, and we both had a really good time with it. A really good movie.
Yeah, that's a great pool. Almost Famous was kind of an instant classic for me when I first watched it. I loved it immediately. It was immediately that year like a top tier film for me. I think the way it pulls the curtain back on the film, on the music industry is really amazing. And things don't really do things like that anymore. Like movies don't really pull the curtain back like that anymore. There's always some extravagant thing or, it's about this wild and crazy thing. This Almost Famous is just about people. It's about people who want to make music, people who love music, and people that are just trying to do their best. And sometimes they get lost, and sometimes they find their way, and sometimes they don't. And I just think it's a stellar cast, great performances, good music, and obviously, just put Kate Hudson on the map in such a historic way, and was really kind of her, huge, coming out party, if you will. So yeah, love Almost Famous. Superbad is one of those ones that's always interesting because I feel like if you watch it when you're younger versus when you're older, it's going to kind of mean two completely different things.
That's fair.
You gave it a really solid score. So for you, what was it about Superbad that you really enjoyed that game? Because you did say it run long, which I totally agree with actually. But what was it that kind of made it like a decent score for you? What did you really enjoy?
I think that when you kind of have to rate comedies, obviously different than you'd rate a drama or a horror film, because the goal of a comedy isn't to make this stellar cinematic masterpiece, right? It's to make you laugh, and it did make me laugh quite a bit. I thought it was very funny. I think our two leads we have, in other movies, I've seen them, Michael Cera and Jonah Hill. I love them in just about everything I watch them in, but this one, they're just really in their element when it comes to the comedy of their career. And I just think it's the friendship bickering that makes you laugh, that makes you feel like you're almost that third friend when McLovin's obviously not on screen. That just elevated my score a bit. Like I said, it did drag a little bit, so I kind of was sitting at a 9. I felt like for a while because it made me laugh a lot in the first 2 acts, but it does kind of drag there a bit in that third act. So I think that's where I landed on that 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 100%. I think if the movie was like 20 minutes shorter, you could have made it like almost an 8.5 kind of film in my mind anyway, if you kind of shave that off. So, for me, I watched 3 films over the past kind of week and a half, 2 week span. The first was Four Brothers, which is a really interesting one. I think the chemistry between the 4 actors playing the brothers is excellent. I love it. I love how they establish it. They make you believe it. I buy into it. But for me, Four Brothers really kind of suffers from the third act dismantling for me. It just kind of fell apart in the third act for me. I didn't really enjoy how they wrapped things up. And for me, I give Four Brothers still a solid 7 because it's some of my favorite chemistry that I have seen. It's good action, it's fun dialogue, but the third act really kind of falls apart for me. But the chemistry is I really buy into and what I love. And all the scenes, where they're, imagining the scenes with their mom and everything like that. It's what really sells the movie for me. I love it so much. So it's just a fun ride for me. I like Four Brothers. I also saw Labyrinth. Labyrinth is an 8 for me. It is one of the most epically weird movies I've ever seen.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I always joke that David Bowie didn't have any hair, makeup, or costuming. It's just how he showed up to set, and he thought that they were filming. He probably thought they were filming a documentary, and that's just how he showed up. It's so weird, but incredible puppetry work. Jennifer Connelly, so early in her career, a really fantastic performance. I thought, yeah. So it's just a super fun movie. It's really odd, really weird, but it's just a really good time. And then I saw The Exorcist 3. I watched The Exorcist 3.
So good.
Yeah, so The Exorcist 3, and people always shocked at this. I give it an 8 out of 10, and people are just like, "Wait, why is it so high?" And I'm like, "'Cause it's such a good movie. It's so
Yes.
fun, and it's so intense, and the performances are so like, Brad Dourif's performance is so good in The
Yes, it
Exorcist
is.
3. I always try to tell people, I'm like, "Look, if you wanna watch, like, peak Brad Dourif, don't go to Child's Play, go to Exorcist 3. He's so good in that." So
Honestly.
yeah, yeah. So that was what I watched last weekend or over the past week and a half. And Will made a good point in the beginning that it has been a while, and that's because I have been away for the past 2 weeks working on a feature film in New Hampshire called Shiver. Shiver Slaying All Night. So, can you guess what genre of film that was?
Rom-com. No, I'm kidding. It's got to be horror. Right?
Nailed it. Yeah, really cool horror feature that I was brought onto, and I was the first AD on that film. So we filmed in New Hampshire for 2 weeks. I will say, absolutely, I don't care if you call it a self-plug, one of the coolest villains I have ever seen on set. The prop work,
Yeah.
the hair, makeup, the costume, like the kills that he gets to do. It's one of my favorite like creatures I've ever like seen on a set. Like the actual hair, makeup, and everything is incredible. Shout out to Jade out there who did the hair, makeup work and kind of creature work on the villain. But it was a cool experience. A really good group of people, good crew and cast and everything. So yeah, that's where I've been working on Shiver. You know, in indie film, there's tons of work out there, and I always tell people if you're interested in getting into that world, you know, join the different Facebook film groups. You know,
Hmm.
go to cons, meet people. That's where Will and I met. You know,
Yep.
connect with people, have conversations, and you can get on these film sets. You know, we had a bunch of people on our set that it was their first film that they ever worked on. So you can
Yeah.
definitely do those things. You can get on those film sets. Just, you know, you got to put yourself out there and make those connections. And speaking of working together, Will, we're going to be working together on a film coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. Just a month today on the date of filming. A month is when we kick off, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a month from today, and it's going to be Ghosts. It is written by the amazing Jennifer Ruth, who is a dear friend and an actor, producer, writer in the industry. She's a really amazing filmmaker, and I'm going to be directing Ghosts, and Will's going to be working on Ghosts, and probably a bunch of different roles, which is kind of what you do in all the films. You just really, I mean, you hop into all the different departments, and you're really kind of become that almost Swiss Army knife on our sets, which, you know, we're so grateful to have you. And it's a great opportunity, I feel like, to kind of learn the different things. So if you wouldn't mind, Will, I'd actually love, and you know, maybe the audience would like to hear, when you come onto a film set and you've never been on a film set, but you love the business, and you know, you've been on my sets a few different times, and you're
Mhm.
working in a bunch of different departments, like, you know, what does that do for somebody who's kind of like you, who's newer into the industry, who has a real love for it, and now you've branched off and started making your own projects? But when you get on your first kind of film set, like, what is that experience like?
At first, it's a little nerve-wracking, obviously, because you've never been there before. But I would say now that we've worked on 3 projects, this will be our fourth together.
Yeah,
Together, it's you've met the people. It's the usual suspects getting back together. So honestly, for me now, it's to a point where it's like a homecoming. I'm getting to see all these people that I don't get to see all the time. Obviously, you and I, we do a pretty good job at staying connected outside of filming. But some of the other people, just getting to see them and work with them, it's always a fun time. That first film, I didn't really know what to expect. When you're a PA, you're kind of just like you're there for whatever they need you for, and I would say that's probably one of my favorite things about it because you get to learn a little bit about every little thing. The last movie we worked on together, Better Places to Go, it was a really fun experience because it was 2 weeks, so obviously a little more expanded time, and I got to work very heavily in lighting, which was a lot of fun. Matt really took me under his wing and showed me some of the things when it comes to setting up the light and setting up the shot, and Emma always does a great job at pulling me aside to show me some camera work as well. And it's just being with a group of people that has done this, a few times, right? And they're not only doing the thing, but they're making sure the people that want to do the thing down the road are also learning and getting the tips and tricks to the trade. So it's just you put together a great group of people. And so that's my favorite part about it is I know not only am I going to have a good time, I'm going to learn a lot.
I love it, man. Thank you. That it really means a lot, and you very quickly became an invaluable part of the team. And I really mean that. We love having you on set. We love working with you.
Thank you.
And when I say we, I mean I include you in that. It's not even like we and you. Like you are a part of the team now. And
Yeah.
every time I'm working on a project, I always reach out to you and Brennan like immediately about working on the projects. And that's exactly what it is. We don't gatekeep any information. Like I love that we have people like Emma and like Matt and different people that can show you lighting. They can show you how
Mhm.
different types of stands work. They can show you why this camera angle versus this camera angle, and, little lighting tweaks based on whether you're doing a close shot, or wide. And it's just, that's what it's all about. And yeah, I love that, because I remember when you first came on to set, like, I could tell it's like, okay, this is this guy's first set. And I told everybody, like, okay, these are these people's first time being on set. Let's definitely give them information, but also don't have them standing around. Like, definitely put them to work, make them feel
Mhm.
like they're contributing. And now, fast forward a few films later, I see you on set teaching people things. And I know you're not going to say that about yourself, but I saw it happen. I saw you on set talking to people about things. This is why we do X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, this is what it's all about. You gain the knowledge and
For
then you
sure.
pass it on from somebody else. And now you're using it on your own sets. You've become a filmmaker yourself. And, we mentioned it before, but I got to see your short film, and, I loved it. And, you do so many cool things in it that I really, really dug. And it's a style of filmmaking that I'm really into. So, that's the
Thank you.
coolest thing, is you get that knowledge, you pass it on, and then you make it work for yourself.
For sure. Yeah, lighting has been probably the department I worked in the most on your films, from the first 3 with Chris, who Chris does a great job at making sure
Yeah.
he teaches us, industry language and some of the fun tools. And then that was Matt too. Matt brought some cool little tools of his own that he was teaching us, and
Yeah.
stops and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. And then obviously, and I think a lot of people we work with know that I want to make and have started making my own films. And I think that's why Emma's done a great job at showing me what it's like to, put a shot together, compose a shot, and the cinematography that goes behind it and all of that. So it's been a surreal experience, and I can't thank all of you guys that are on your sets enough. I love every single person that I've worked with, and it's just been a blast. And I look forward to, like I said, 1 month. I have the countdown going. I look forward to
Yeah.
getting back together and doing it again.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time. We're filming in a historic home that's a few hundred years old in Warren, Ohio. And we're
Mhm.
filming in a home that was actually once the national headquarters for the suffragette movement.
Okay.
5 presidents have visited the home. So it's a really, really incredible home. And we're so excited to be working in that space. And I think you're really going to dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we have coming up, and that's our lives. But let's jump into what's going on in the industry. Got a couple things for you. Obviously, we can't run over everything because there's just so much. But something I thought was interesting that caught my eye is, and I want to get your thoughts, Will. Project Hail Mary will make over 80 million in its opening, which is the best Amazon film ever opening. What are your thoughts on Project Hail Mary and making that much money? Why do you think this film came out and just popped as big as it did?
Ryan Gosling, he's probably the big reason. He's one of my, if not my favorite actor today. Anytime he's attached to a project, it's got to be on my watch list. I actually haven't gotten a Project Hail Mary this week or last week. It's Rosie and I are going this weekend to see it, so I'll have to let you know next episode what I think of it. But I just think Ryan Gosling is a guy that's so good for the movie industry. I know he just had an interview where he was talking about it's not the viewer's job to save theaters. It's our job to put things in theaters that make you want to come and watch them in theaters. And he's just that kind of guy. He's so likable. He's an Oscar level actor. And I don't know, the trailer obviously has you intrigued. It's a very colorful film, and it looks like it's fun. It looks like it's action packed. It looks like it's got everything you want in a movie. I know the runtime's a little long, but it's just one of those movies that even though the runtime's long, it's not deterring me from wanting to go see this movie. Maybe not wanting to go see it at 11 p.m., but it's a movie that I want to get to, and I think it's just the marketing behind it and having a guy like Ryan Gosling attached to it is what's making this movie do what it's doing.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. I think it's doing a lot of the things that The Martian did. The
Mhm.
Martian was a very successful book. Project Hail Mary, very successful book. The Martian had Matt Damon leading its cast. This has Ryan Gosling. And The Martians, I remember watching the trailer for it. It was, you got the seriousness, you got the drama, and then you got funny little moments here and there. That's what Project Hail Mary's trailer did. You get the
Yep.
seriousness, the scope of, like, existence ending, and then you got the funny interactions, with the
Yeah.
Rock. And I'm just gonna the
Yeah.
Rock. And yeah,
Not
so I
Dwayne, though.
think, yeah, I think it's really smart. The marketing is smart. You got a really likable lead.
Mhm.
And yeah, the use of colors, cinematography, everything. and then you're piggybacking on a project and a book that people really really love. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. We'll definitely give our reviews after we've both seen it and next time we could. But yeah, for those of you out there, if you've seen Project Hail Mary, what did you think of it? Let us know. Write in the comments. Reach out to us, email us, whatever it is. Let us know if you've seen Project Hail Mary, what you think of it, and if you're part of that 80 million. Number 2, this is a little bit more of like a deep cut indie insider thing, something that I grew up with. I don't even know if you'll know who this guy is. A man named Jamie Blanks just died, and he directed Urban Legends and Valentine. Now,
Okay.
Urban Legends was one of my favorite kind of popcorn, it tried to be in that era of Scream kind of coming out. I Know What You
Yeah.
Did Last Summer. It tried to be like that. Urban Legends is just such a fun, stupid, over the top popcorn, horror film. And Valentine is actually, I think, one of the most underrated horrors. Like for me, I absolutely love Valentine. I think it's a great one. So the director of this movie, Jamie Blanks, died. Have you seen Urban Legends or Valentine?
Not Valentine, but I saw Urban Legend at a very young age. I actually own it on Blu-ray. I have the Scream Factory
Oh,
limited,
okay.
like the special edition one of it. I need to rewatch it because it's been a while. It was one when it was like me and my friends were together, probably in middle school, and we just threw on a horror film. I remember liking it, but it's definitely one that I'm due for a rewatch on it. I don't think I could like deep dive it right now, but I definitely do remember liking it.
Yeah, it's such a fun movie, just start to finish. It's got your normal people that were all on the WB shows at the time, and
Mhm.
they knew what their audience was. They were cashing in on it, and it's just really fun. And Valentine, once again, David Boreanaz, Angel, from
Mhm.
Buffy, is in the movie, and there's a bunch of people, and yeah, so really really fun. So shout out to Jamie Blanks, directed some movies from my childhood who I really love. So and then the other one that I had, another kind of strange one I just saw today, is I want your thoughts on this franchise because I have thoughts. Jumanji 3 pushes
Okay.
release to Christmas. Let's talk about it. Jumanji 3. What are your thoughts?
You know, the original's obviously fantastic with Robin Williams and company.
Incredible. Love it.
I had enough fun with the first one with The Rock and Kevin Hart and Jack Black and all of them. The second one definitely, I
Falls
think
off
it
a
took a step
cliff.
back for me. Yeah, definitely not as good as the first one, not as fun. You have moments, but it's definitely like, okay, we know that families are going to come out and watch this. It's going to make money. And I think the third one's doing the same thing. I think Christmas is unfortunate because I'm a guy whose most anticipated film of the year is Werewolf from Robert Eggers. So I'm hoping that a movie like Jumanji 3, where families can go out and watch it, isn't going to take away from a movie like Werewolf that probably deserves the money more. So I think it's kind of a situation that I am not a fan of, but we'll see, I guess. I mean, Werewolf, I think, will be the better movie, so hopefully it pulls more eyes towards it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Original Jumanji with Robin Williams and, Kirsten Dunst and, a
Mhm.
bunch of other, love that movie. Fantastic. Bonnie Hunt, really great movie from my
Yep.
childhood. Something I went back to time and time again. Just absolutely loved it.
Oh, yeah. I think I watched
And
that movie 20 times growing up,
yeah, same. It's
at
just
least.
it's just an incredible fun film to go to. It's got so much heart to it. It's just really great. The first Jumanji that came out, of the new kind of trilogy, didn't mind it at all. Nothing wrong with it. Like,
Mhm.
sweet ending. Ending was really cute. Like, didn't mind it. Interesting concept. Changing it around enough that it's a different film and you're not just doing a direct remake, but also kind of a lot of nods to the original. Second
Yeah.
one, I fully went into, what are we doing? Like, what
Yeah.
are we doing? And then for this third one, I'm expecting it's going to be the same. I actually have the exact same take as you. A Werewolf, I'm super, super excited about, and I really hope it doesn't dip into that pocket because I think that's going to be. I mean, if we just look at Eggers' track record, you are
I
going to
mean,
get, at the very minimum, an exquisitely shot and amazingly good looking film.
yeah. I mean, in my opinion, Eggers hasn't made a movie that's under an 8 out of 10, so.
Yeah, I absolutely love his work. I'm a huge Robert Eggers fan, and I think he's interesting because I feel like he's one of those filmmakers that, even though he's really appreciated, I do not think he is appreciated enough for what he is
I
doing
agree.
in the industry. His originality, even with works he is, for lack of a better term, recycling, his original spin on things, his take,
Mhm.
his input, his view of the world is really incredible. And the actors that are flocking to work with him and the people that love working with him it's just so clear that he is such an inventive filmmaker that has a view and a take on the world that is very sparse and also needed. So yeah,
Oh
I'm a
yeah.
huge Eggers fan. I'm excited for Werewolf.
Yeah, Werewolf is just Eggers is becoming that director for me that if he's making a movie I'm in, I don't even need to see the trailer. I don't even need to know what's about. That's kind of how The Northman was for me. I went into The Northman very blind. My one buddy texted me, he was like, "Hey, do you want to see this Robert Eggers movie?" I was like, "Sure." And I left the theater and I was like, that might be the best Viking movie I ever watched,
I
you know?
know.
So
We should do when Werewolf comes out, we should break down his films, do a whole episode where we
I'm
break down Eggers films. That would be great.
I'm fully down for that Robert
Yeah.
Eggers Christmas special.
Robert Eggers holiday special.
Let's
Do you do you have anything going on in Hollywood, in the industry, anything like that you want to talk about, or are you kind of good with what we covered?
I think we've got a good three-piece going.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
let us
I feel
know.
it.
You know, the fans let us know what you think of what Adam talked about and what we kind of discussed there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
always things going on.
There's a million things, right?
I mean, obviously, big in the news right now is, the Oscars happened about 10 days ago. We can kind of segue into that, a little recap
Yeah,
if you want.
100%. Let's jump right into it. Will, give me your thoughts on the Oscars. What did you like? What did you not like? What did you love? What did you hate? Give me your thoughts.
So my bold prediction didn't hit.
Nope.
Sinners unfortunately did not break the record, but, it ended up being a very good Oscars as far as winners go. I think horror was very well represented. Sinners ended up bringing home 4. Frankenstein got 3, which was awesome to see. And Amy Madigan brought home, which I did not see coming, but I'm very happy she did, Best Supporting Actress, and that's huge for Weapons, and just the horror genre bringing home 8 trophies, I think is a really good night. And then, a guy like PTA that if you're a movie fan, he's a guy you just respect because he's made so many good films. He's been nominated how many times, and he finally got that win. So at the end of the night, would I have loved to see Sinners, a movie that I adored, take home all of them? Of course. But the way it was spread out, I really did enjoy. PTA finally got his Director and Picture Award. Coogler still won an award with Screenplay. Michael B. Jordan brought home Actor, which was huge. So I had a great time watching this Oscars. It's probably one of the better Oscars in recent memory when it comes to just all night. I was kind of feeling good about who won.
Yeah, 100%. Is some of the most fun I've had at the Oscars.
Yeah.
The awards didn't surprise me. Even Madigan winning didn't surprise me because she was the early front runner when Weapons kind of first came out, and then the talks about her kind of died down. And yeah, so her winning didn't super surprise me. I mean, I think the win of the night was Michael B. Jordan. Just when that happened and his face and people's reactions, it was just, it was an incredible win. And I was so happy for him. And I thought, I was shocked by it. I mean, I know you weren't, but I was. I was really, really shocked that they gave that to him. And I shouldn't say gave that. He earned it. He 100% earned it. Incredible performance. And, one battle winning as much as it didn't surprise me. I completely agree, though. PTA, I'm such a huge fan. So happy to see him, get his directing Oscar, which was really cool. But yeah, I think Michael B. Jordan winning was the win of the night. His speech was great. You could see the emotion that he had just all over him, and I just think it was a really beautiful moment for him and for the young Oscars. It's not. For I know he's been in this business a while, but he's still a young guy, and I think it's a great win to see leading actor for the young Oscars. Did you as soon as the announcement came out, did you catch that little glimpse of Chalamet's face and his little bit of really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like there was for me, you see DiCaprio, he's got his Oscar, he was happy, he was like, oh, everybody else was all good. Chalamet had about a second and a half of "Are you kidding me?" on his face before he got his stuff together, and I'm guessing he had a earpiece in, and his PR person goes, "Clap, clap, Timothy, clap."
Yeah, I think the thing with Chalamet is I adore Chalamet. I think he is one of, if not the best actor right now. I think the problem is Marty Supreme just did a little too much trying to push that. And then obviously I know some of the things he said when he was in that interview with McConaughey didn't strike some of the people right. But I think voting was in by then. So I don't think that that little say on, when he was
opera
talking
and
about
ballet.
Opera and when he was talking about, I don't think that affected votes. I think that Michael B. Jordan won this without that. I think it's just the thing where we talked about it. The Oscar likes the legacy. Not that Michael B. Jordan, like you said, he's still a young actor. They probably know Chalamet is going to have more chances than Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. Maybe that, it's all in their head. I don't know how the voting works, to be honest. It just seems like every year it's different, but I'm glad Michael B. Jordan won. I think that his performance in Sinners was the best of the year. And the fact that he celebrated In-N-Out Burger was also fantastic.
That was so fun.
I probably would do the same thing. So hell yeah.
Yeah. And now, the talk has shifted to, I guess, maybe this kind of ties in. Did you see the new Dune and the new Spider-Man trailers?
Yes. Yeah.
So, the talk has shifted to could Chalamet get nominated for Best Actor 3 years in a row with Dune 3? Like, is he going to get 3 years in a row of Best Actor nominations?
And if he loses
all
a
of
third
them
in a row, it would be the first guy since Pacino.
Yeah.
With Godfather Serpico and Godfather 2.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Let's do a quick little jump into that. What did you think of those two trailers?
I think they both look fantastic. I think that's going to be a very fun day of movie going. Doomsday is what they're or Doomsday is what they're calling it. It's kind of like how we had a couple years ago when we had Barbenheimer. Yeah. So, both those movies are going to make a lot of money. So I don't think anybody's like, oh, which movie's going to win the day. I think most people are going to do the same thing. They're going to go to both movies, make an experience out of it, and make it a day in that opening weekend. And I think both movies are going to do really good. But I think both trailers looked fun. I'm very excited for both movies. I'm excited to see if Dune can complete this trilogy. I have all of the faith in Denis Villeneuve. I think he's a very underrated director when it comes to, we just talked about Robert Eggers, somebody that's respected but not talked about enough. I think Denis Villeneuve is on that list. And then Doomsday, I'm hoping, that Marvel's had a few good releases, their last few releases, I think. I'm hoping that they keep that track record going because we know it got a little bumpy there for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Both trailers looked amazing. I'm hoping that, Denis is going to really complete the trilogy, like you said. It looks, as always, like the first two. Just the cinematography is off the charts. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Spider-Man looks so fun. It's cool that we actually hopefully get to see Spider-Man be Spider-Man. Yeah, so I'm really excited. But I agree. I think if you look at Denis' films, it is mind-boggling to me how good of a filmmaker he is. You start at 2013, right? And I brought this up. Here's his run of films from 2013 to now in 13 years. Here's Enemy, Sicario, Rival, Blade Runner 2049, Dune 1, 2, and 3. Are you kidding me? Like a 13-year run, in my opinion, the lowest I would rank any of those movies is a 7 out of 10. 13 years, his lowest for me is a 7 out of 10. Like, this guy is Arrival. I've said it before. Arrival is one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love that film. And what he does as a director, I just think is kind of on another level, right up there with Eggers. So, yeah, super excited about those trailers. If you guys out there have seen those trailers and you got thoughts, let us know what you think of them. And then let us know what you think of the Oscars. All right, Will.
I misspoke. I got to go back on a second. I didn't mean the Doomsday trailer. The Brand New Day trailer was the one that
Brand New Day. I knew what you meant.
But yeah, both look fantastic.
So, Will, let's jump into one of our favorite segments, Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to hit you with 4 films, changing it up, 4 films. I'm going to give you the rating, and we're going to say too high, too low, or just right. So we're going to start out with a cult classic, Hocus Pocus.
I just watched this. This was one of the rewatches I had in the last week that I didn't mention.
So, Hocus Pocus, 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. We're going to go too high, too low in 3, 2, 1, too low.
Way too low.
Criminally too low, right?
That's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. So what makes you love Hocus Pocus? What is it about you? If you had to pick like 1 or 2 things that really puts in that 9 out of 10 category, what is it that you truly love about that movie?
It's just got so much charm. It is...
What a good word to describe it. I love that charm. That's it right there.
Yeah, obviously 78 Halloween might be the quintessential Halloween movie, but Hocus Pocus is right on its tail for me. If I'm going for horror, I'm going Halloween. If I'm going for a feel-good, family-friendly film, I'm going Hocus Pocus. Those are the 2 movies I watch every October. Well, it doesn't even have to be October, obviously. I watched it like 3 days ago, but... As somebody who's been to Salem a few times, it's cool seeing the set pieces in real life. And I always tell people, if you visit Salem, it's just like being in Hocus Pocus in real life.
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to go. I really, really want to go to Salem. I could not agree more with every word you said. Charm. I'm going to use that forever now. That's exactly what
Yeah.
it is. You just watch it and it's a feel good movie for me. I watched it with my people not long ago. Like literally all of us sitting on the couch. We had snacks. We watched Hocus Pocus. The movie ended and we were just like, well, that was a good night. Like it's just
Yeah.
such a fun movie to watch. You can quote it like endlessly. It's got so much heart to it. You literally laugh out loud at so many different points. Every
Yeah.
single time they see Gary Marshall and they're like, Master! I laugh so hard. I love it so much. Yeah,
That's a good
it's
scene.
such a great film. It's so much fun. So yeah, couldn't agree more. Way, way too low with a 38% rating.
Way too low. I mean, it's got good music. It looks good. The reason we watched a few days ago is I had a buddy and his girlfriend had never seen it.
Okay.
So they came over and watched it with us and they both liked it too. So, I mean, it's just
Yeah, fun film.
30 whatever percent. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, whether you're a kid, teenager, adult, you put that film in any time, doesn't matter. It's a good time.
For sure.
Okay, next film. And to be clear with the audience, I don't run these by Will beforehand because I'm always wondering if I'm ever going to say a film that he hasn't seen. So if he does, it's like, all right, well, let's just try to pull something else up. Step Brothers is the next film. Step Brothers has a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes. So we're going to go too high, too low, or just right in 3, 2, 1.
Too
Too
low.
low.
I will say Step Brothers is a movie. I do like Step Brothers. I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's a very good time. There's people that say this is the greatest comedy of all time. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't either.
And I know Superbad's another one that's in that conversation for greatest comedy of all time. I don't agree with that either. But Step Brothers, 55 is way too low. It's at least going to make you laugh for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever the runtime is. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I always say it's one of the most quotable comedies for me. I
For
quote
sure.
it all the time. Their relationship is so good. It's so funny. For me, if this movie was rated as like a 70 to a 75, I might say just right.
Yeah.
But
Same.
like, yeah, it's so quotable. It's so ridiculous and over the top. It's a really good time. I have to be in the mood to watch it. Like, it's not one of
Yeah.
those movies I can watch anytime. I have to be in the mood. But when I am, very few movies make me laugh harder when I'm in the mood than Step Brothers. So, yeah, good one.
Yeah. I've actually always been a bigger fan of Talladega Nights when it comes to the Will Ferrell catalog.
I love Talladega Nights. You're either first or you're last.
Yeah.
Trademark Ricky Bob. But yeah. Okay, so moving on to number 3, we got Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mad Max Fury
Okay.
Road. Too high, too low, or just right. 3, 2, 1, just right.
Too high. Okay.
You get to go first, my friend.
So, hot take, I think Fury Road is a good movie. I don't think there's a bad Mad Max movie. It's just a franchise I think stayed consistently good through it all. But this is actually one of my least favorite in the franchise. I think the only one I have below this is Beyond the Thunderdome. I thought 1 and 2 with Mel Gibson, and I think Furiosa were all 3 better than this. But it's still good. Like, it's a hard franchise to rank because they're all so good. But I'd probably put this in like the 7.5 to 8 range.
So for me, I give it the just right because there are a few elements of this film that I think. So there was the whole like Oscar thing of like, this is the best picture of the year. I didn't agree with that. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, this was the best movie of the year. There are action elements and sequences in this film that absolutely blew my mind. That there were practical things done in this film without CG, like from a professional stunt team that was brought in, that they built these rigs, they built hydraulic systems, they used real fire, like they really jumps like professionals from all these different fields coming in to work on this film. And the actual chase sequences in this film are some of the absolute best I have ever seen in my life. And that to me is kind of what puts it in that stratosphere. Like, I think it's really fun that Tom Hardy basically doesn't speak in the film. I love the Furiosa. I love, the origins of that story, how we get into the sequel, but like seeing Charlize Theron, I thought she was phenomenal in that role. I love seeing somebody like Tom Hardy, who was an A-list movie star, come in and go, yeah, I don't need any dialogue. I'll just emote with my face. Like, Nicholas Hoult is such a great actor. And that's when he was still like up and coming. He wasn't like the giant name in the industry that he is now. He was still kind of like on the come up. I love the production design, the costume work, the hair and makeup work. For me, what gets it so high is from a pure production standpoint, I just think is an exquisite piece of art. like just purely from the production standpoint. So yeah, I think it's just a right review. I can still probably go back and watch the earlier Mad Maxes and maybe just have more of that nostalgic factor. But I think this one just, they took their entire budget and they used it wisely. Most films don't.
Yeah.
They took their budget and they used it wisely.
Yeah, it's just one of those franchises where all 5 of them are a great watch.
Yeah.
I do have a little more love to the first 2, and I really liked Furiosa that came out a few years ago.
Yeah, Furiosa was good. Yeah, I liked it. Okay, and the last movie for a Rotten Tomatoes score, Jaws: The Revenge. I had to give you that little bit of a pause there. I had to give a little bit of pause there. Jaws: The Revenge comes in at a striking 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof.
So on 3, too high, too low, or just right. Jaws: The Revenge, a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes in 3, 2, 1. Just
way too
right.
low.
Just
way
right.
too low.
That movie is, look, maybe, I don't know.
Underrated.
Maybe
That's what
just
that movie
right.
is.
If it was an 8%, I might say just right. So maybe too low. But that movie is just a giant pile of trash. I mean, Michael Caine, I think, is fun in the movie. Like, it's one of those movies I love to dislike. It's like watching The Room for me. Like, The Room is not a good movie, but I love watching it. Like, Jaws 4, like Jaws: The Revenge is not a good movie, but it's fun to watch.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
5 out of 10.
What?
I have so much fun watching Jaws: The Revenge. I think it is criminally underrated. I'm not saying it's a good movie. It's not a good movie. It's not. I think the telepathic shark, though, is fun.
Oh,
I have a lot of fun with that. The opening scene with her son trying to move the log and he gets his arm, like that scene when I was a kid scarred me. So fantastic scene. And I don't know. I just have fun with it. It's not good. I think it's better than Jaws 3. I think Jaws 3 is the worst movie in the franchise. But
yeah, I agree with that. Jaws 3D.
Yeah. Oh, Jaws 3D is awful.
Jaws 3D
The only
is
thing
terrible.
that saves that movie is that at least there's some people that are fun to watch, like Dennis Quaid and Leah Thompson. But yeah, Jaws: The Revenge, I get why people don't like it because it is a very out there concept to a shark movie. But I think when you have Jaws,
so most sharks don't follow a family to the Bahamas to finish off killing them. That's a new thing. Okay,
not usually.
He follows the family to the Bahamas.
But you got to think about it. You have Jaws. Then Jaws 2 is almost like a copy and paste, right? Like it's very similar to the original. Yeah. And then Jaws 3, they try to do something different. And they go to a theme park, but it's not good. So
failed,
why not just go all out with something bonkers for the 4th film, right? You're not going to do something as good as the original. You're probably not going to do something as good as the second one either. So why not just like throw things at the dartboard and see what you can get? And I think they came up with an idea that is very out there, but if you really shut your brain off and just watch it as like a dumb shark movie, I think it's fun. And like I said, it's not good, so I can't give it higher than a 5, but I'm giving it a 5 because it's a movie that if somebody threw on, I'm not going to get mad that I have to watch it.
I mean, it's a good time. If I want to laugh and it's on, it's going to give me a laugh. One of my favorite taglines of all time is Jaws 4. This time, it's personal.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Because it wasn't personal in the other one. This time, it's personal.
My favorite thing about the 3rd and 4th Jaws, though, is that the shark growls. And as somebody who's like very obsessed with sharks as a kid, sharks don't have vocal cords, so that is an inaccuracy I'll give you. They can't.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's good to know. The only inaccuracy in Jaws 4 is that they don't have vocal cords. Everything else is basically a documentary.
Yeah, it's fine.
100%. No, obviously I've rated it way too low then, obviously.
I'm so happy you picked Jaws: The Revenge. That
was for you, man.
That might be my hot take of the week right there, if you want to segue to that. Jaws 4. Jaws 4 is not that bad of a movie.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty scorching take. So I definitely think that's the hot take. So speaking of, let's jump right into it. Our hot take of the week segment. If you have that as your hot take, that's certainly the hottest of all takes. But for me, I really thought about this one. I had fun with this one because somebody brought it up when I was on the film set. And this is going to be a wild limb I'm going out on, and I've really thought about it. But I need you to understand not just what I'm trying to say, but what I actually am saying, which is Friday the 13th, 2009 might be the best actual Jason we have ever seen.
I agree.
Do you really?
I would say him or Kane Hodder.
Yeah, I said that, and so many people were like, "That movie's terrible." That movie, and I said it. I go, "Why? Why is that movie terrible?" And literally nobody could give me a real answer.
That is
I was
that
like,
is
okay, this is a Jason that is absolutely terrifying. This guy runs after
yes.
you. He has a goal, objectives. He is coming for you. He doesn't just magically appear when you turn around a corner when he's just been behind you. Like, he doesn't move at a snail's pace, but somehow he kills you. This Jason is an actual terrifying monster. And I remember watching the first trailer for it being like, oh, okay, here we go. This movie's going to be terrible. And I remember the first trailer I watched ends with him running up with the machete and doing that huge swing and bringing it down, and the trailer ended. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this. That's the most terrifying Jason I've ever seen, like in a movie. It's a Jason that doesn't just stand there and breathe with his shoulders really big. And just like, oh, wow, look at that guy. He can really inhale and exhale. The 2009 Jason, I think, is the most terrifying Jason we've ever seen on screen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say it's a shame because I also really like Kane Hodder's Jasons, but he's unfortunately the Jason like 4 of the worst movies
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
franchise. Because he's 7, 8,
Yeah.
goes
Yeah,
to
yeah.
hell, and X. And I have fun with X, and maybe that's my hot take. Jason X for me is a 6 out of 10. Maybe that's a hot take right
I
there.
have so much fun with X. I don't hate on
Yeah,
X at all. It's just a
X
really
is
fun
fun.
movie. Yeah.
It's probably one of the better horror go to space movies, in my opinion.
I want to
But
see Leprechaun in space versus Jason in space. That's what I want to say.
Leprechaun in Space is one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my life.
Yes, it is atrociously bad, but I love it so much. It's like Jaws 4 for you. I love Leprechaun in
That's
space.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, I like the 2009 Jason a lot. I think the movie is actually one of the better movies in the franchise.
Yeah.
But I've always thought that when the Jason, like when you're talking about the Jason, that Jason's scary. He runs, he throws, like he's just like
He's
not leaving
terrifying.
anyone behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not leaving anyone alive.
I love the switch up at the end. Spoiler alert. The girl who you think is going to be the final girl gets killed. And you're just like, wait. So who am I supposed to be rooting for? Who's the one? And it does a really quick switch up at the end. And I thought that was a really smart choice. Yeah. So really enjoyed it. Yeah. And so the 2009 Friday the 13th remake, for me, I've always put on the list, not saying favorite or anything like that, the most terrifying Jason, 2009 Friday the 13th. If you agree, disagree, let us know. Reach out to us, email, comment. What are your thoughts on that 2009 Friday the 13th? Okay, well, do you have a different hot take, or are you sticking with that Jaws the Revenge?
I'll stick with the Jaws one. That's a fun
Because I don't
one.
think it doesn't get any hotter than that.
No, Jaws 4 is a fun movie.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Movie of the week, The Breakfast Club. For me, I have Breakfast Club tattoos. It is my second favorite movie of all time, and I think I could quite literally talk for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it may be about this movie. And I think the easiest way I can surmise it, and I'll just say this quickly, and then you can go into your breakdown and I'll do a little bit more. It is the best movie ever made about what it feels like to be a teenager. That is the hill I will die on. I have watched the movie over and over so many times throughout my life. Growing up, when I was in different situations, different emotional and kind of mental states of being in things, I would watch that movie and I felt like I could watch a movie that understood me.
Yep.
And that is a movie that stands the test of time. John Hughes is the best writer of teenagers that has ever lived.
Yep.
And I think for me, one of the very few 10 out of 10 perfect films for me is The Breakfast Club. What are your thoughts, Will?
I agree with everything you just said. I agree it's a 10 out of 10. I agree it's a perfect movie. And I agree it's the best movie written about what it's like to be a teenager. And the crazy part is you feel all of these emotions, but you still also have a really fun time watching it because you're just almost, when you watch it, you almost feel like you're in detention with these 5, right?
Yeah.
You know? Like you're the 6th person in the Breakfast Club. They just don't know you're there. It's just like you said, John Hughes. He's one of my favorite writers and directors. I mean, there's not I don't think there's any movies of his that I dislike, but some of my favorite movies, you're talking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Weird Science is another one. I have a shelf in my man cave down here that holds 10 VHS, and I have my top 10 movies on there, and Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off are both on there. Just once again showing like John Hughes is the man. I would say he's probably a top 3 director of mine of all time. And here in Breakfast Club, I mean, you get to just the cast you put together too. I think this movie doesn't work if the queen is played by somebody else. It's not Molly Ringwald. I don't think that this works if Sporto isn't Emilio Estevez. I don't know if this works if Bender, you know what I mean? Going down the line, Anthony
Yes,
Michael Hall,
100%.
like
Yeah.
it's just the cast they got for this was so fantastic, from the 5 students to the assistant principal to the janitor. It's not a big cast, but what we got is who was supposed to be there. It's very quotable. It's another, we've talked about quotable movies. I think Breakfast Club is another one of those movies that I find myself and Rosie quoting all of the time. It's her favorite, one of her favorite movies. I think it's second behind Beetlejuice. And for me, like I said, it's top 10 for me, if not top 5. It's just one of those movies that has super high replay value. I can throw it on anytime, any day, and I'm not going to be bored with it. It's got a fun soundtrack, and yeah, it's just, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, 100%. I wanna hit you with this list, Will. All of the movies I'm about to mention, John Hughes either directed, he wrote, or he was the executive producer of. And sometimes all 3, okay? National Lampoon's Vacation, 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Beethoven, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Early Sue, Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out, Miracle on 34th Street, 101 Dalmatians.
All hits.
I mean, like, this guy is, his writing, his producing, his casting, his directing, all of those films are films that played direct roles in my childhood, all of them, and even in my adulthood, like all of those films. He is just, and the people he brought together, you know, like whether you're looking at Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, you know, who else? Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Demi Moore, John Candy, Macaulay Culkin, Rob Lowe, like just the, you know, a who's who of actors when they were so young in their career. And, you know, John Hughes is the guy that brought them together. And would find, you know, these actors have done so many interviews over the years saying that so much of the process was about casting for John Hughes. And he would say, you know, the company would say, okay, well, we have this actor that's going to play this role. And he'd be like, well, let's see how they interact with this act. He knew it was all about the chemistry. And when you watch a movie like The Breakfast Club, it's like you pointed out, right? It's the chemistry that makes that movie work. That's what, you know, when you think about a movie like Home Alone, right? It's like the chemistry makes it work. Uncle Buck, the chemistry of these movies, Pretty in Pink, you know, and like you said with Molly Ringwald, making her kind of like his, you know, his kind of final girl of non-horror films, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and Anthony Michael Hall, he talked about like, you know, I was just this dweeby kid. And you know, every studio turned me down and nobody wanted to see me, and John saw something in me that nobody else saw, you know, and gave him so many platforms, and you know, he credits, you know, John with, you know, giving him a career, you know. And then, you know, you look at these films, you know, that, and the works that he did was just absolutely incredible, but nothing for me stands out more than The Breakfast Club does. And what's so brilliant is the concept is so simple. 5 people in detention. Like, that's what the concept is. It's like, okay, this movie could have went a million different ways, but the route that he took it was, he gives you, you know, bits where you're laughing your head off. It's clearly teenagers versus adults. Adults are the villains. The teenagers are the heroes. They're misunderstood, you know, all of that. You know, Mr. Vernon is clearly, you know, the villain of the film, and he doesn't get them, and he doesn't care. You know, you have Carl the janitor, who's just like this funny random side character, and he's most likely to succeed, you know, when he graduated, which was so funny. But what I've always said is my favorite scene in The Breakfast Club is when they're all sitting in a circle upstairs. And it's this very, very serious scene. And they're all talking about the things that hurt them and the things that they put up with, and their parents, and how their parents don't see them and understand them and believe in them. And I just feel like, you know, John Hughes really understood teenagers and kids and what that was like. And for me, you can see little bits of everybody in everybody. And the writing of that film is so genius. And it's like these moments where you're just laughing your head off because it's so, so funny. And then these other moments where they're crying and having these intensely serious conversations. And then the way the film ends with that voiceover of Vernon reading the letter. And, you know, you got Judd Nelson, you know, pumping the fist into the air. Like, it's just so iconic.
Yeah. And is that song a hit like it is if it's not for, you know what I mean?
I know, yeah. A song that I listen to so many times. Like, Don't You Forget About Me is one of the best, like, songs of a film ever.
Yeah. Yeah, everything you said is spot on. One of my favorite scenes is, I mean, I love it all, but I do love the scene when they're running through the hallways and
Yeah, so fun.
trying to avoid Vernon, and then he lets them go, and he comes into the to the basketball court, and you got Bender there. I'm thinking about trying out for
Yeah,
a
for a
scholarship.
scholarship. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's so much fun.
I love it. It makes me so mad. I get mad at all the different characters at different points. I laugh with all the different characters, and you even have somebody like Brian, Anthony Michael Hall's character, who's the dweeb and who's the goody two shoes and this and this. And then you find out that, he was planning to do real harm to himself.
Yeah,
And it's like, and he's trying to explain, like, I got an F. I can't have an F. I can't have it, and my parents can't have it.
yeah,
And it's just like, and then, Emilio Estevez's character, his dad's riding him about, like, what, you don't want to get a scholarship? You want to blow your ride? Like, don't be an idiot.
yeah,
And it's like, and then you got Ali Sheedy's character, she didn't get detention. She just didn't have anything better to do.
yeah,
Like, it's like, but that in itself, like, it's a funny moment, but that speaks to her isolation and loneliness that she feels at home.
yeah,
And when Emilio Estevez is like talking to her later, he says, what did your parents do to you? And she says, they ignore me.
yeah,
And there's so much heart in this film, and the heart peeks out between all the laughter that you do. And I feel like for me, I've shown people The Breakfast Club for the first time throughout the years, and I always get so excited to show it to them. And regardless of how they're going in or what their mentality is or how old they are, what their experiences is, there is something in that film that connects with everybody. It is a universal film that connects
for
with
sure.
everybody.
I
Because you have
100%
people
agree.
that are nerdy, you have the sports, you have the kids that don't care, you have the really rich kids, you have the really poor kids. 5 characters are able to represent every aspect of high school,
Yeah,
and it is played with such immense authenticity. And once again, I got to meet at Steel City, I got to meet the cast of Breakfast Club
yep,
minus Emilio Estevez, and hearing them talk, I got to talk a little bit with Ali Sheedy, which was, really, really amazing. And she was so lovely. Her saying that, yeah, John Hughes like encouraged them to improvise and to play around
that's
and to
cool.
bring their own authenticity to the role and to really own those characters and study those characters and be those characters. And I just think is a unique experience that will never be replicated. It'll never be topped. It's just, to me, that is the quintessential movie of what it means to be a teenager.
For sure. Yeah, we were at that Steel City Con too, and we really got to talk to Anthony Michael Hall because he didn't have a line when we were in his line, so he kind of just took time with us, and it was really cool talking to him. We talked about Breakfast Club for about 10-15 minutes, then we talked about Halloween Kills for a little bit,
Evil
Evil
dies
Dies Tonight.
tonight again.
Yeah, so but it was fun, kind of picking his brain on what
Yeah,
it
he's a
meant to
nice
him to
guy.
be a part of that Breakfast Club, and yeah, oh yeah, he's a great guy. He was, I think, he had a little bit of a crush on Rosie. Yeah, we went to the
What?
photo op the next day,
You
and
better check
I
that
was
guy.
we went to the photo op the next day, and we walk in, and he goes, Rosie, and I was like, there's no way he remembered you. Like, that's
And you're like,
awesome.
hey, remember me? And he's like, get away, man. Who are you?
Yeah, so I put my arm around Judd Nelson, and she put her arm around Anthony Michael Hall. It was all cool,
All right.
I was with Bender, so
You're like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, when I very, very rarely will do a photo op. Like, very rarely I got the photo
mhm.
op with them because, like I said, second favorite movie, I have it tattooed on me.
Yeah,
I showed on my ankle, I have a screw because of the loose
mhm.
screws, and I have Sincerely Yours on my ankle. And I showed
That's
them, and
awesome.
Anthony Michael Hall took out his phone and took a picture of it. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So, yeah, we obviously love Breakfast Club. We think it's the quintessential kind of movie, what it means to be a teenager. What do you guys out there think of The Breakfast Club? Do you love it? What are your thoughts on it? And if you maybe love The Breakfast Club, but you got a better one in your mind, what is your movie? What is the movie you grew up with that makes you feel the most seen, the most heard? What is the movie you think best represents what it's like to be a teenager? I think The Breakfast Club. Will thinks The Breakfast Club, but let us know what you guys think out there. Email us, comment, whatever it may be. But Will, anything else you want to throw out there before we wrap up today?
Yes. So we have a consistent listener. My mom says that she's been listening to every episode on her way to the gym or work or
We
whatever she's
love
doing.
it.
She's been loving it, and she did tell me that she has started watching some of the movies that we talk about.
What?
So this past week she watched Weapons and Bugonia. She was not a big fan of either of them, but she said that she also watched Sorry Baby and Sinners and loved them both.
That's what what is your, never mind. You don't have to give your mom's name. I was like, wait, what is your mom's name? That's amazing. That really actually means a lot in all seriousness, because I can tell kind of similar stories. I have people in my life that have started to listening, and they're like, oh, I didn't know about this movie, so I checked it out, which is like, that's really cool. I know that's cool for me and cool for you. I'm really glad
Yep.
that she liked Sorry Baby because it was my favorite movie of the year. I just thought it was an absolute incredible piece of film.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. Shout out to Will's mom. Thanks for being a listener. We appreciate you and keep giving us your feedback. I love it. But yeah, thanks for that, Will. I love that. But yeah, thank you all out there for listening. We appreciate it. This wraps up episode 4 of Back Row Critics. We want to hear from you. What do you guys want us to watch? What do you want us to check out? What are you interested in and what's going on in the film industry through your eyes? So let us know, reach out. But until then, I'm Adam.
I'm Will.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.